Jed, we weren't able to talk about this the first time around, but now I can ask you about your final scene in King of Staten Island, which is really beautiful and caught me off guard because I didn't think this is when the story was going to end.
Yes.
And so I would love for you to just talk about how you came around to realizing that that was going to be where you ended it. At what point in the process did you think, okay, well, when I bring him here to Manhattan, this is where I'm going to leave him? Because it feels to me almost like a beginning for the character also.
Well, I'll say spoiler alert for anybody who wants to pause for a little while. But basically, I wasn't sure how to end the movie. I shot several endings, and I put them all on the digital and Blu-ray release so you can see all the ways I did it wrong. So there was an ending. There was an ending I shot at the same time where you see Pete doing career day at the preschool of Bill Burr's kids. Mm-hmm. And then slowly you realize, oh, Pete works at the school now. He's like the teacher's assistant to their teacher who we met earlier. Mm-hmm. And we shot it, and it seemed really fun. And then in post, we were like, this is terrible.
I actually like that idea, to be honest.
Yeah, it made sense. I like the idea that people would think, is he going to become a firefighter at the end of this movie? And then you're like, oh no, he does something that's of service to other people, but it's the fact that you've learned that he's just really good with kids. Mm. But it didn't feel right when we edited the movie. I shot another ending moment where you see Maude back home with the family. Bill Burr is there. They're all eating breakfast. They're talking about their day. It's 6 months later. You realize that Pete is going to art school to learn how to be a better tattoo artist. And you just see that they're a family, and it's just kind of like normal, and they're happy, and Bill fits in, and they're all chatting. And then Pete takes out all these drawings he's working on in art class, and one's like of a horse, and Marissa Tomei's like, that really looks like a horse. And then he takes out some, pictures of naked men, like they're drawing, nudes. And Bill Burr is like, yeah, it's a good looking cock there. That's gonna jump off the page and poke me in the eye. And it was like a funny, sweet scene where they call back the cat, Ricky Velez's cat. And Pete says to Maude, you want to come with me to feed Oscar's cat? And she's like, no, I'm not going to that place. And he's like, I don't go in. I just throw it through the window, And again, didn't work at all. Wasn't right. With the one that we used, I knew I wanted to do that scene. I didn't know if it would be the very last scene. My daughter, who was 16 at the time, Iris, I kept asking her to read drafts as a way to teach her about film. I just had to read all the drafts, and I tried to talk to her about the work I was doing. And
that's awesome. She
kept saying, Dad, no one cares about anything but the couple. They don't care. All they care about is the relationship with Bel Powley. And she said that during the script. She's like, you need a great end to the relationship. And I'm like, well, I kind of think people care about his relationship with his mom and Bill Burr. And she's like, they don't care. It's all about the girl. It's all about the relationship. And
she's right.
So,
she was right.
So we were scouting, and I was like, I didn't think this scene should be the last scene, but Iris keeps yelling at me, telling me this is all anyone's going to care about. And they're going to want this scene to be the ending. And so it's supposed to be she walks in to take her test to work for the city. And I'm looking around, and I go, oh my God, that's where the Twin Towers were. I just looked up. I'm like, oh Jesus, that's crazy. Oh, there's the Freedom Tower, and it's like poking out from behind a building. So it's not really obvious. And maybe 80% of the people who watch the movie don't even catch that that's where he is, which I like. And then we just started thinking, well, how would we shoot this? And it just occurred to us, well, maybe she walks in and he just looks around the city, and you could end the moment. I thought a lot about the ending of The Graduate. Just now what? And I shot it a bunch of different ways, and there was some versions of it where Pete kind of shaded his eyes from the sun, and then the movie ended. And for some reason that bothered the audience because it was weaker. And then I found a take where he didn't shade his eyes, and he just looks around with a little more hope. He's like, maybe I'll enter the city, as a metaphor for maybe I'll take a chance. I have a little more support. I'm feeling a little better. Maybe because he's never in Manhattan in the whole movie. So the idea of even entering this space feels like hope. And then when we started testing the movie, it became clear that should be the ending of the movie.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's a brilliant last shot. It's funny, that was the first. It hit me. Is he geographically actually looking where the towers really were?
He's looking off, and it's like behind him. He's not looking at the towers. The towers are right, like in this. You see the Freedom Tower,
yeah,
but it's behind another building.